Yaman, a man whose life has been dissected, celebrated, and speculated about in every corner of the world. He is not just an actor, he has become a symbol of passion, strength, and mystery. Millions follow his every step, hanging on to every word, wondering what secret lies behind his gaze and his carefully chosen silence. But now, something different has happened. A confession so shocking, so chilling, that it has left the entire world stunned. And at the center of this confession is a name nobody expected, Sara Bluma. A woman who once seemed inseparable from Can's story, now revealed as the author of the biggest mistake of her life. When Yaman speaks, the world listens. He is not someone who wastes words or indulges in gossip. He is disciplined, precise, and protective of his personal world. That is why this moment feels like an earthquake in the celebrity universe. For years, Sara Bluma was whispered about in gossip columns, speculated upon in fan forums, and photographed at Can's side during moments that felt almost too intimate to be coincidence. Yet nothing was ever confirmed. Fans asked endlessly, who is Sara to Can? A friend? A confidant? A lover? Or just another figure passing through his star-studded life? The silence around her made her even more intriguing, and the mystery fed the flames of obsession. But now, with Can's confession, everything has changed. It all began during a late-night interview that few expected to become historic. The cameras were rolling, the audience silent, and Can was asked about the relationships in his life that shaped him most profoundly. At first, his answers were the ones we all know: his mother, his career mentors, the friends who stuck by him through difficult times. But then, his voice shifted. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy. And he uttered the words nobody was ready to hear: Sara Bluma, she made the mistake of her life. The silence that followed was chilling. The host didn't even know how to react. The audience gasped. Social media exploded within minutes. What could he have meant? What mistake? And why now, after so many years of silence, did he decide to finally reveal it? To understand the weight of those words, we need to go back to the beginning of Can and Sara's connection. Their story wasn't one that began in the spotlight. In fact, much of their early interactions happened in private, away from paparazzi cameras. She was close to his world, not as a celebrity equal, but as someone who understood him in a way others did not. There were times when fans swore they saw them together, exchanging looks that seemed to tell a story of unspoken intimacy. But both denied any romantic involvement, leaving everyone guessing. Yet those who knew them personally whispered that Sara held a unique place in his heart, a place no one else could ever touch. She was the calm in his storm, the person he turned to when the weight of fame became unbearable. So what happened? What mistake could have been so monumental that, years later, Can still carries it like a scar, one he finally decided to show to the world? Some insiders claim Sara betrayed his trust in a way that shook him to his core. Others believe she let the fame, the attention, and the endless flashing lights consume her, leaving Can feeling abandoned at a time when he needed her most. Still others whisper that the mistake was not one of action but of silence, that she failed to stand by him, failed to defend him when the world was quick to judge. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: to Can, it was unforgivable, and the consequences of that choice changed everything between them. When Can called it the mistake of her life, he didn't just mean a small error, a simple misunderstanding. His words carried the weight of finality. It was as though he was saying that her entire future, her chance at being part of his world, crumbled in that one decision. And perhaps that is why the confession feels so chilling. It's not just about what happened, it's about what could have been. Fans immediately began connecting the dots. Was Sara the reason behind some of Can's most melancholic public appearances? Was she the unseen figure in his heartbreaks, the shadow behind his distance in interviews, the ghost haunting his smile? Social media erupted into theories. Some said Sara's mistake was falling into the traps of jealousy, unable to handle Can's rising star and constant female attention. Others speculated it was about loyalty, that she shared something private, something that should have stayed only between them, with the wrong people. A few even went further, suggesting that the mistake was walking away, leaving him at a moment when destiny could have united them forever. Whatever the case, one truth stands firm: Ken would not have spoken those words unless the wound ran deep, unless the betrayal was unforgettable. What makes this confession even more powerful is the timing. Yaman is at the peak of his international fame. His career is flourishing, his name is on everyone's lips, and his fan base spans continents. For him to suddenly bring up Sara Bluma now suggests that her presence, or perhaps her absence, still lingers in his life. It's as though, despite the lights, the applause, and the endless opportunities, a part of him remains tied to the past, to the pain of a mistake that cannot be undone. This is what makes the confession chilling, not just the revelation itself, but the reminder that even the strongest, most admired figures carry private wounds that never fully heal. Fans who once romanticized Ken and Sara's connection are now left heartbroken. Some defend Sara, insisting that everyone makes mistakes and that she is being unfairly vilified. Others side with Ken, arguing that for him to publicly confess this after so much silence means the betrayal must have been devastating. The divide has created a storm of debates, with hashtags trending worldwide, each fanbase fighting to interpret the truth. And yet, perhaps the most haunting part of this story is that we may never know the full details. Ken has given us only a fragment, a single sentence heavy with meaning but empty of specifics. It leaves the imagination running wild, forcing everyone to fill in the blanks with their own fears and suspicions. And what of Sara? Her silence since the confession has only added fuel to the fire. She has neither confirmed nor denied, neither defended herself nor apologized. Some say her silence is an admission of guilt, while others believe it is her way of protecting herself from a storm she cannot control. But one thing is undeniable: her name will now forever be linked to Yaman's most shocking revelation. She has become the symbol of a mistake so profound it altered the course of his life, and perhaps hers as well. This confession isn't just a personal story. It's a reminder of how fragile relationships can be in the face of fame, pressure, and human weakness. Even for someone as strong as Ken, trust, loyalty, and love are the foundations of his world. When those are shaken, the wounds remain, sometimes for a lifetime. His words about Sara are not only about her, they are about the universal truth that mistakes have consequences, and some choices cannot be reversed. In exposing her mistake, he also exposed his own pain, his vulnerability, and his humanity. So where does this leave Yaman? Perhaps this chilling confession was his way of closing a chapter, of releasing a weight he had carried silently for too long. Or perhaps it was a warning to those around him, a message that loyalty matters more than anything, that betrayal will not be forgotten. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: the world is stunned, and his fans will never look at his story the same way again. And where does this leave Sara Bluma? For her, the confession is both a curse and a legacy. She is now immortalized in Yaman's narrative, not as the love of his life, not as the woman who brought him joy, but as the one who made the biggest mistake. A mistake so great that years later, it still echoes in his words, still lingers in his heart, and now, finally, has been revealed to the world. In the end, this story is not just about Ken or Sara, it's about all of us. It's about the mistakes we make, the confessions we carry, and the haunting reality that sometimes, the greatest pain is not in what happened, but in what could have been. And that is why Yaman's chilling confession has left the world in shock. Because behind the fame, the glamour, and the smile, lies a truth we all recognize: that one mistake, one choice, can change everything.